Hello, it's a Monday, and I always like to start my Mondays by reflecting back on the week before's reading. So, I read a lot last week, and I'm pretty proud of myself. But before I dive into the books that I read, I wanted to share with you a reading challenge that I am participating in. And this is called um, a Bit About Books Fall Reading Challenge. Bit About Books is a blog by two fellow readers and one author. And they just share a lot of middle grade reads and lots of fun challenges and all kinds of stuff on their blog. So I have it linked below for you to check out. So make sure you look at them and then you can follow them on Instagram and Twitter as well, their personal account, all their reading accounts. But I wanted to show you my challenge board, and you can get this template on their website as well because it's kind of my focus for the next but until December when it's winter. So here we go. Let me make that a little bit bigger. Okay, so I have decided most of these books are publishing or published September, October, and November. So for my reader's choice, I chose Tiltersmith. This is a fantasy book that I received from Media Masters Publicity, and I'm pretty excited to dive into that book. Let me zoom in a little bit on that cover. Okay, so there's Tiltersmith. So far, it's dual perspective. I just started it. That's my reader's choice. For red or orange cover, I chose Garvey in the Dark. Nikki Grimes' books are my favorite. She's a fantastic novel and verse writer. And I loved Garvey's choice. It was one I've read to many classes, many students. And so I'm excited for this follow up with Garvey in the Dark. So that is my red or orange cover. For spooky, scary read, I just love this cover. It looks so scary and so good. So it's called The Sacrifice by Rin Chupeco. And honestly, I don't know much about it other than it looks fantastic and super scary. For books set in autumn, I'm reading Dear Student by Ellie Swartz. It's also, I think, about mental health, anxiety. So I'm excited for that one. For my foodie read, Fake It Till You Bake It, I believe it's an adult novel, but I just think it sounds so much fun. So it'll be a great one, probably after I read a scary book. The Canadian author is actually the author that's part of Bit About Books. So this is If You Can Dream It, You Can Do It. How 25 inspiring individuals found their dream jobs. And Kathy's the one who is part of um, Bit About Books. And then Colleen Nelson also co-wrote it with her, and I love her books. Harvey, Harvey Holds His Own. Harvey Takes the Lead. It's about a dog, and they're so cute. So I'm excited for these. Name in the title, I chose Pippa Park Crush at First Sight. This is the sequel to Pippa Park, and I love Aaron Yoon. I loved Pippa Park, and I can't wait to get back into that world. The book published in fall 2022 is Maria Khan and the Incredible Henna Party. Excuse me, this is probably more of a lower middle grade to early reader book. It's a little bit shorter and has illustrations, and it looks like so much fun. And I love Sadia Faruqi's work. Um, and I'm excited to dive into Maria Khan. Okay, intergenerational. I had to research these a little bit. I love intergenerational books. And so I found a list, um, and this book was on here, Honeybees and Frenemies. And I won that book from something a long time ago. And I just love the cover, and it's just been sitting here. So what makes it intergenerational, I'm not sure yet, but like I don't know if it's a grandparent or if it's a friendship with a neighbor or someone older. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm excited to make myself read this book because the cover is gorgeous. But I want to also read it. Comfort read, comic books are my comfort read. So, Too Big to Fail by Rob Harrell is going to be my choice. Came out earlier in August, I believe, and kind of been saving it for when I need a good comic book. And so here we are. All right, nonfiction is going to be one called What the Children Told Us. And it's the untold story of the famous doll test and the Black psychologist who changed the world. So I'm really fascinated by this. And um, I love untold stories. So I'm excited to read this one. And then the backlist title is one that I just every time I see it, I'm like, yes, I need to read this. Secret of the Shadow Beasts by Diane McGross. She wrote, um, oh my goodness, hold on. I can only think of part of the title. Um, the Mad Wolf's Daughter. And I loved The Mad Wolf's Daughter. It's such a fun adventure fantasy. So I'm excited for Secret of the Shadow Beasts. So those are the books I hope to read, or at least my, a choice of get as many as I can done by December 20th. I tend to, with these, with challenges like this, I tend to get so distracted or I forget that I had the challenge. And so I forget to read those books. But these are all ones that I need to read for ARCs and need to review. And so I think that'll help me keep them in my mind. And I may pull them and put them on a separate shelf. So that way, some of them are ebooks, but a couple of them I can pull physical copies and make sure I put them somewhere where I'm like, read these first before you get distracted by everything else behind you. So, I'm really excited for that. If you end up doing this challenge, I think you should leave me a comment and, tag me on anything on Instagram or Twitter if you have like your um, challenge board, because I would love some ideas. And I did get some of these ideas from uh, the Bit About Books people because I was stuck on a couple of topics and just wanted to see what they had. And they have a very diverse list and a very well thought out, and recent titles. So I think that that's really helpful. All right, let's talk about my reading last week. So let me share. I read a lot. I honestly can't believe how much I read. So the first one I'm going to share with you is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I chose this book because I wanted to, it was a banned book. It's one on a banned book list. So it was at my library and I saw it and I've never read it. So I thought I would pick it up. This was just fantastic writing in general. Um, Multiple points of view. Every chapter kind of fed into the next person, and I liked finding the connections with them. Some of them were obvious, but some were not. And it just made a whole big picture of this neighborhood. And it all centered around this girl who tragic things happen to, and she feels so ugly, and she wishes to have the bluest eyes because that is what beauty is to her and to everyone around her. And gosh, it broke me in a good way. It's This was a powerful story and one that I definitely won't forget. It's definitely gonna stay with me. And it's, a classic. I think that this is just a book that will be timeless, and an important read as well. So, and it was shorter, but still so powerful. It took like I slowed down with reading it, and it did take me longer, but I really just wanted to soak in everything that was being mentioned. Um, Completely on the other side of things, beach read. This is by Emily Henry, and just she writes just good romance books. So I listened to this audiobook. It was so much fun. She's done a couple now of people in the book business, And I liked reading about that. That was a lot of fun. They're both authors and they make like a little bet with each other. And I really, really found that was a lot of fun. Hero for the Hungry, The Life and Work of Norman Borlaug. I got this from Media Masters Publicity, and it's a nonfiction middle grade book, and it has pictures and quotes. It's really eye catching inside, and it was really fascinating to read about how others have tried to help the world in terms of food. And so Norman tries to come up with a new wheat that in for Mexico that would help. They're having trouble. They can't make enough wheat to feed the country. And so he helps to like cross, you know, breed wheat and get the one that will be the hardiest there and produce the most. And then he works around the world, and it was just really cool, the whole process and his heart and his passion. And yeah, it was, and at the end it gave some cool things that you can do so that, it's hard to read something about people being hungry in the world and not knowing how you can help. And it gave some things that you can do, and it was actionable, easy things. So I really appreciated that at the end. And it was a quick read. All right. Caraval, I had been reading for several weeks by Stephanie Garber, and it was one that I just wanted to savor. I loved this world. I loved the little pieces of magic. I loved the characters. Um, I'm really excited to read the second one, Legendary. So I highly recommend Caraval. It's more young adult, but gosh, it was fantastic. It was a great, great world building, I will say. Great world building. I also read a comic book, graphic novel, Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys, and it was co-written by Andrew Weiner and illustrated by Brittany Williams. And this was a fun superhero book. And, the unlikely hero and the um, family dynamics were interesting. And there was a lost mother and siblings, love between siblings, good friendship. It pretty much had it all. I really enjoyed this book, and it had action in it and heart, and I loved the illustrations. They were awesome. Okay, another graphic novel, Wake: The Hidden History of Women-Led Slave Revolts, was a very good memoir of Rebecca Hall's journey with learning about women-led slave revolts, why those were not in history, and how she had to dig for them, how she discovered things. The illustrations they're all black and white, powerful. It was a fantastic read. And then the last one was Abuela, Don't Forget About Me. And this is by Rex Ogle. And he wrote Free Lunch, which was a tough book to read, but very good. And then this one is also kind of tough to read, but it's a novel in verse, and it's about his experience, his life with his abuela, and how she basically got him to where he is. And there are some tough things in this book. It is more for young adult, but it's a really good book and really important. All right, and then one last thing I did last week was for Banned Book Week, wore a bookish t-shirt every day. So here were the shirts I wore, and it was a lot of fun to kind of not celebrate books and the freedom to read books by wearing these shirts. So that was a lot of fun. And these were my top 3 reads: Abuela, Caraval, and Wake. I chose these because they're more middle grade / young adult, but maybe okay for younger readers. And yeah, let me know what you read last week, and if you read any of these and they sound interesting, or if you have any questions about any of the books. I also hope to post on my blog, so if I do, I'll put the link down below. But that's all I have. That was my week of reading, and hopefully keep that going and focus on some of these fall reading challenge books this week. So, all right, don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.